Hello, Cancer. Welcome to the Modern Spiritualist. My name is Raheem. Today we're going to look at April for you. You can use this for Cancer, Sun, Moon, Rising, or North Node. Well, really any placement that suits you. These are pretty Cancer archetypical and pretty lax, so if you are watching this video for whatever reason, there are messages in this for you. That's kind of how it's set up, okay? Using a Celtic cross spread with the Jungian Tarot deck plus a Threads of Fate Oracle card for your Catalyst energy. Your Catalyst energy is going to be the high point, or what kind of keeps you centered throughout the month. So if you get lost in process or you spiral, you can kind of lean on the Catalyst energy to get you back into balance, okay? We're going to start there. We got Ascension reversed. You're not the first one to get Ascension. I think there was like more than half of all signs got this so far, so it's a collective theme, right? It came out in the reverse. And there's a lot of fiery energy. We are in Aries season. I feel like you guys just are a little bit blocked. I wouldn't worry too much about it. It doesn't feel severe. It just feels like there's a lot of fiery Aries type energy kind of rising in you, and it seems to be getting stuck right at the back of your neck. And it's not able to kind of continue to move out through the crown of your head and kind of release for some reason. And it being stuck in your neck, it looks like it may have something to do with like the way that you're expressing yourself, particularly feelings of anger, maybe, or just fiery energy in general. Just feeling deeper into that. So I'm just being told that this block needs to be removed, and it will. It's going to be kind of a slow burn, so it's not like a blow your top off kind of energy. It's a slow kind of removal, and it will kind of just eat away at itself throughout the month, so just be aware of that. I'm kind of being told that there's not much that can be done immediately, but just to have grace with yourself, to have compassion, to be aware that that's the spot that's tripping you up. There's a block there, so whatever kind of restless, fiery, angry energy that you're feeling this month, it needs to be released. It's getting stuck here, and that's why you're feeling what you're feeling, okay? Moving into the Celtic cross spread at the center, we have a lot of cards here. They just kept coming, so I just kept them because they were calling to me. So, here we are. So let's start with the Ace of Wands energy, with the Ace of Wands and the King of Swords in the center here. So this is your starting place. It's also kind of what's on your heart at the moment. And this Ace of Wands pretty evenly matches this Ascension energy of what I'm getting, of like fire kind of rising up your spine. And what I'm really feeling is a serious sense of directionality, kind of upwards instead of forward, which basically just means that this has a lot to do with like your energy system and your alignment and your awakening more than it has to do with what you're doing in the world this month. That's not to say that you aren't busy, but because I feel this is like an alignment, ascension type energy, it's more about what's going on inside you, okay? But there's also a lot of, cards in the upright. There's going to be a lot of movement this month. And I'm also feeling a bit of a settling here, kind of like you're right at the start of something. And it's something that you really care about, you're passionate about. I can feel it in my chest, and I can feel it in my stomach. So those are like the passionate centers, Just make sure that whatever you do moving forward is really unionized with all of you. Because this ascension is happening and because it's getting blocked, you're going to want to pay attention to like making sure that you have everything supporting you this month. So are you eating well? Are you sleeping well? Like, are you getting enough exercise? Are you getting enough water? Is your body okay? Are you handling your emotions in healthy ways? I think a physical outlet, because it's Aries season and I'm getting a lot of like fiery energy in here, a physical outlet would be really, really good to help you kind of release some of that energy, because some of it's getting blocked, but not all of it. It's just kind of like there's a spot where it's coagulating, but other than that, everything is moving. You're not stuck, you know what I mean? So anything that you can do to kind of move it with physical activity. You see the snakes here, that's kundalini energy, which means procreative energy that needs to move. And so make sure that you're moving your body this month. And then also just make sure that you're taking care of your mental faculties, of your mind. And that includes making sure that you're getting enough sleep so that your mind is active. If you spend a lot of time on screen for work or whatever, or because that's what you like to do. Make sure that you take breaks and that you kind of rest your eyes and your third eye, because if you stare at a screen for too long, you can get kind of fried, you know? So make sure that you're taking breaks, that you're getting outside also. Yeah, I'm really being told that the focus is really your health in a holistic sense, because that's what's going to kind of naturally move what needs to be moved. And so make sure that you're taking care of you first and foremost this month. It's paired with the King of Swords. I'm really being told to just give your mind a rest, because this is a body month. This is a body, emotion, spirit month, and your mind is kind of relatively caught up with the rest of your system, so it just doesn't need to be a focus. It doesn't feel like it's being too damaging. I mean, King of Swords in the upright's a good energy. It means you know exactly what you're doing, basically. I would just say that the one hang up is like, try not to overpower the rest of your system with your mind, because that could kind of send you into an offshoot, since this is really all about your core spinal energy this month. If your mind gets too directionless or goes too far off your center, you're just going to get confused in process. And that's really all I'm feeling, is confusion. So if you feel confused, make sure that you come back into your body, into your center, move around, you know, whatever you need to do to kind of focus here, because the y-axis is what's important this month. So try not to like branch off too much. If you do that, your mind will be supportive. This is just a good month to really focus on you. So as long as you make sure that the focus stays on you, that's where you're directing your attention, you're going to have a good month. It really does feel like a lot of good energy and a lot of good movement, and the block really does feel like it's not happening at all levels, that it's really just kind of like one spot that we're trying to unstick, and any motion that you do this month, any movement, with the focus kind of being on you and your body, that's going to kind of naturally flow out, and that's what we're trying to do this month. That's what the ascension is unblocking that, so you can level up. Basically, we're getting you to a place where you're about to level up, which is beautiful, because you've done a lot of work this month that it hasn't been easy, Cancer. So congratulations, you know. Crossing those energies, kind of your challenge or your hurdle, or what's kind of in your way here. 8 of Pentacles. So you don't have to have everything figured out. And that can come with the King of Swords, like this feeling of like needing to have everything figured out in order to move forward. You don't. Keep your mind clear, stay focused on your body, let the energy do what it needs to do. You don't have to fully understand what's going on, because it's such a physiological process. So you showing up for your body, taking care of yourself, and making sure that you're moving around is the only work you need to do. Beyond that, you really don't have to figure anything out. Okay, so just let your mind relax and unwind this month. In your past affecting your present, we have the 5 of Pentacles, and I remember I pulled that for you guys, I think, a couple of times the past few months. You're past that. You have leveled up, you have an increased sense of self-worth, and you're going to use that to your advantage this month. Okay, so just remember where you've been and where you are now, really worlds apart. You've done a lot of good work. Okay, so congratulate yourself for that. It's paired with the 3 of Swords, same thing. Whatever was really breaking your heart in the past, and I'm feeling kind of like a heavy, dense energy in my mind specifically. So it looks like whoever hurt you, or whatever hurt you, or if this is really old childhood trauma, whatever you were kind of dealing with in terms of the self-worth issue the last few months, it looks like the tangle that your mind got into about it was kind of like your worst enemy, because then you ended up just kind of hurting yourself and perpetuating the pain over and over again. Not saying this is in the past, but you're in a much clearer space now, where your mind is kind of just being kinder to you, and that's exactly where you need to be. So just remind yourself not to backslide into those old patterns where you're kind of looping in your mind, or telling yourself you're not worthy, or you don't have it figured out, because you absolutely do. You are in a much better place than you were before. Just remind yourself how far you've come, and you're going to be fine. Okay. In your foundation this month, we have the Magician. I mean, this is a new opportunity here, and Aries season is kind of the seed of the season, right? The start of the astrological year, and so we're all in a place now where we can kind of push new things forward and refresh and revamp, right? Do something new, and this is supporting that. This in your foundation means this is what's grounding and supporting you this month. And the Magician is saying you can go wherever you want to go, and don't feel like you have to make a decision right away. You know, focus on you, focus on your body, focus on how you feel and how you can nourish yourself, basically on all levels. And from that place of holistic wellness that you're kind of moving towards, once that place in the back of your neck and your throat chakra kind of unblocks and everything kind of shoots forward, you're going to know exactly what to do, and I think even how to do it, like how to move forward, what the next step is. So just keep in mind that that's what you're gearing up for, and maybe something will happen this month to that end, maybe it won't, but it's okay to not know, because what's important is what you're feeling. The excitement that you're feeling is very, very real, and let's just keep that moving forward, okay? In your crown this month, we have the Seven of Swords. There's just some older mind patterns, some older limiting beliefs. They're starting in your crown. They're backlinked into your solar plexus, which is the center of the ego, which deals with things like self-worth and what you think you're capable of versus what you think you're not capable of, and comparison stories, all that. The backlink kind of means that it's being sneaky, and the Seven of Swords is a very sneaky energy by nature. And so any thought patterns that come up that seek to derail the progress you've made towards feeling better about yourself, obviously don't shame them, because solar plexus is linked to shame, so that's not helpful. Don't shame your shame, don't judge your judgments. Just notice them for what they are, and try not to let them slip past you, because it looks like they're really kind of looking for backdoor entrances to kind of keep you back into the small self. And that just happens, and you're playing cleanup, and that's why you're kind of in a gap where, yes, the energy is building, but no, you're not moving forward substantially yet towards your new vision, whatever it is. And that's because there's just some cleanup to do. It kind of starts with this, with the remaining energies of negative self-talk and whatever that you kind of are moving away from as you enter this new cycle. Just play cleanup, pick them out one by one, notice them when they arise, and tell them you don't need them anymore. And then redirect your focus to what you've been working on in terms of your self-worth and capabilities, okay? And so that's going to keep you in a good space. And just remind yourself that, this is a process. Things don't have to be perfect. You're still in a way better position than you were, and that's going to continue to be true, okay? So these things might feel frustrating because it feels like you should be past them by now. And so just remind yourself that you are past them. These are just the stragglers, the hangers-on, and they're more frustrating than they used to be because now you're past that and you know it doesn't serve you. And so it's going to be even easier to just walk away, New circumstance, we have the Ten of Cups. So you're really at a place of a much greater peace this month. Even the things that come up that feel restless or try to tear you down this month, I think they're really going to be more background noise, because I keep feeling it's like the back of my head, the back of my solar plexus, the back of my neck. It's really kind of saying like it's all behind you. There's just still shells of the former energies that just need to kind of fall off the back of you. And it's most likely most of that's going to move this month. We've got the Ten of Cups here, which says, you're at peace, you're in a much calmer place, you feel much grounded, you feel much more in your body. And so that's great. It looks like you've at least got a few people in your corner that you can reach to if you have a moment. And that support, just having that support and knowing it's there, you can kind of avoid even having a moment in the first place, because you can remind yourself, somebody has my back, and so remind yourself of that as well. Somebody has your back. It looks like the support that you found this month, or that you found in, the previous month or whatever, is showing up in an increased or new way, so that you really feel like the floor is not going to drop out from under you, or you're not going to get lost because you have somebody or some people holding a container for you that keeps you a little bit more confined in a good way, in a way that allows you to kind of bounce back into your alignment when you get lost, okay? So just remind yourself that you have that, and be glad of it. Be happy that you made that happen for yourself, especially if you're one of the ones that kind of struggle with asking for help. It looks like you did that work and you're seeing the benefits of it now, so that's beautiful. In your ego this month, Ten of Wands reversed. So it really is all behind you. This is kind of an energy of you just choosing, you making the choice to put the past behind you and move forward. And I think that's all I have to say about that, because it speaks for itself. You've done the work. I'm very proud of you. In your environment this month, we have the Four of Cups. Kind of came out in the reverse. on the side, and I kind of flipped it into direct. So I kind of need to, it really does feel like a reverse energy, actually. I feel a huge liftoff. It almost feels like you have better boundaries this month as well. Because if it feels like you were giving too much to somebody and receiving very little in return, it looks like those scales have kind of been balanced. I feel this liftoff of energy to where, energies that really aren't yours, or like people's problems that really aren't yours, just seem to be kind of being removed out of your field. So maybe you just walked away from some toxic relationships last month or in the previous months and kind of entered into newer relationships with better people. That could be what this is. Because it looks like you've really walked away from relationships or maybe a job or something like that didn't serve you, and now you're seeing things from a much clearer lens because you're not surrounded by people that make you feel bad about yourself. So that's very supportive as well. Great month. Hopes and fears this month, we have the Justice card and the Six of Swords. Beautiful energies. The Justice card, yeah, this is about balancing your life. And I feel a lot of hope to this end, but just this being the nature of justice with the scales and kind of Libra and energy is there's always kind of two sides to every story. There's always a bit of an opposition. There's a duality in this existence, this physical material existence, right? So just remember that as hopeful as you feel, there's going to be fear. As much better of a position that you are in this month emotionally, and I think pretty much all around in your relationships, everything, as much as that's true, there's still going to be things you have to confront in the past in order to heal and fully move on. And you're so focused on leaving the past behind you this month that if the past rears its head, I think you're just done. I think you feel really, really frustrated. So again, I just want to remind you that you are where you are. You're not going to backslide, okay? You're going to keep moving forward, and just because the past resurfaces doesn't mean that you are regressing in any way. You're going to keep moving forward. All of the cards support that because it's all wand energy, which is total forward momentum. So you're going to be okay. We just need to find that balance, that new balance that you have for your life so that you have a better overall holistic well-being. It's paired with the Six of Swords. I'm getting a pull to the Ascension energy. You're kind of moving up into the clouds. Not in a way that's like head in the clouds, with no anchor. It's like head in the clouds, feet on the ground energy, like you're fleshing out your alignment. And so just allow yourself that opportunity. I think the fear is really, really natural when you're kind of leveling up in frequency, because the old systems that are hanging on have to die out. They kind of cling on for dear life, and that's when you feel kind of pulled back into the old. But it's because you're advancing so much that it can't hang on, and it kind of has a death grip until it's kind of forced to let go. And, you have some control over that. As long as you're consciously working to let go, it's going to let go. If you're consciously trying to hang on, then it's not going to let go. And so just remind yourself, if you stay focused on leaving the past behind you and you keep moving forward and you keep moving up, again, emphasis on up this month, but you're going to move forward after this month for sure. If not, at least in the second half of this month, you're going to start to move forward. So, these stragglers are going to fall away as long as you stay focused. And I think because of who you are now, that's not even going to be an issue. What else? You're going to be reaching for new thought patterns now that you've kind of emptied yourself of old limiting beliefs. You're gonna be reaching for more hope, reaching for more faith, whatever that means to you, reaching for better truths, and kind of crafting a new worldview around those things. And just remember to give yourself, again, just hold space for yourself, give yourself some grace and some compassion, because when you're kind of in the in-between, when you're neither here nor there, or you're both, the old person and the new person, it can just feel really gooey and messy and confusing because you have these older thought patterns that are clinging on for dear life, that keep you stuck. You have these new thought patterns that are trying to emerge and give you a better sense of self and the world around you, a clearer sense of self, one that has less baggage and trauma roped into it. And that's where the justice comes in terms of like holding this balance, or the being able to hold the dynamic tension between who you are now and where you're going, accepting the old parts of yourself that you are moving away from, and stepping into the new, which is an unknown because it's you trying to figure out what you want to believe now, and you need to give yourself the space to do so, okay? Outcome this month, we have the Eight of Wands and the Strength reversed. Let's look at the Eight of Wands energy. So right at the end of the month, you're going to have a big burst of speed where you kind of take off. And it seems it has to do with expression. Like there's a little bit of relief in my throat. Not much, it's still there, but there's a little bit of relief. There's also a little bit of tightness in my chest now. So what that feels like is kind of, I don't know if you've ever played Mario Kart or like Crash Team Racing or like one of those racing games where like when you're at the starting position and it's doing like the countdown to like 3, 2, 1, you can kind of like rev the engine before it hits 1 and you get kind of a burst of speed once everybody takes off. And if you do it correctly, you get the burst of speed. If you don't do it all, it's like you just take off normally. If you like do it incorrectly, then usually you get slowed down. So there's kind of this critical moment of truth of like, did I tap the button the right amount of times in the right timing in order to finally to get that speed boost that I'm really wanting to get, right? And so I feel like the outcome energy is kind of that, is you're kind of tapping on the gas to kind of wind up and a rev up before you take off. And so that's what that tension is. It's not, I mean, it is a block. It's blocks that were already there, but it's kind of the unblocking and feeling the contraction of those blocks right before they release entirely. So the contraction that you're feeling needs an outlet, and it looks like it's something that you need to speak about, something that you need to express. So whether that's you have a conversation with somebody in your life, or you express yourself through art or creativity or some way that kind of gets the energy out, that is the final burst that kind of gets you out of the cocoon that you're in this month, and then you're kind of off to the races, okay? So be aware of that's what's coming up. And when you feel that tension at the most critical point, that is the indication to you that it's time for the release, okay? And then the Strength card reversed. You can do this. And the worst part about it is going to be the anticipation. The anticipation creates more fear than once you actually take off, because then you're limitless, you're free, right? You've done it. And so monitor that as well. Remember that when the fear starts to rev up, when the can I really do this thoughts start to rev up, it's because you are on the cusp of great positive change. And if you can just keep going and stick it out and walk with your fear, you're going to be released. And then we walk into May, okay? So that's what you have this month. It's a big month of preparation, clearing, getting your body moving, kind of preparing for the winding up, and then taking off right at the end of the month. And it looks like it's going to be fun. I think you guys really do know where you're at. You can hold space for both the parts of you that are still straggling that need to be released and who you're becoming. And if you can hold that dynamic balance, you're going to have a really successful month, okay? Love you guys. Hit like if you like this video. Subscribe if you want to see the next Cancer video. Leave a comment if you would like to. Schedule something with me in the description box below if you would like to talk about your specific situation. And we can talk about how to kind of work through these blocks or prepare you for what's next or whatever, and I'd love to meet you. Otherwise, I will see you guys in May, and good luck.